Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to English class. Welcome to the students that are here today in class. And hi, I'm Alaris and Min. I hope you guys are well and ready to get into learning the review for the past simple. And hi, Dickerson. So, as I said, we're going to look at the past simple tense. When we speak in the past and we say sentences and we want to express what we did yesterday, last night, last year, last holidays, when you were a kid, you need to put your action word, what you did, the action, in the past tense. And that's what we did. We know it's very simple. You have a subject, and then you have the verb and you add the ed to the verb. And yeah, I mean, it was a very simple tense. So let's look at the review. Okay, so we're going to start to make sure that we understand all the grammar. Okay, so everyone, we are here in the review for unit 6. So if you remember, we looked at these people. Do you remember who they were? They were on the note, on the currency note. So the first one, who was this person? Where was he or she from? Which country? And what did she do? So we're going to use past simple to speak about this person. We're going to say who they were, where they were from, and what they did. So let's put that into past simple sentences. So you know from the image, I think everybody almost knows this person. She, the key. Oh, just here. Yeah. Sometimes people leave. Okay, so we know she is Carla Frida. Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo. Now let's make some sentences about her using the past simple. So Carla Frido was. So we're using the verb to be, and we know it's she was, because we know was is for I was, he, she, it was. But then we have they were, we were, and you were. So we use was when the subject is I or when we're talking about someone. So Carla Frido was from Mexico and was a painter. So we can use the verb to be when we talk about where someone is from and what their job is. So you can see from that sentence, Carla Frido was from Mexico and was a painter. That's her job, painter. She is on the 500 Mexican peso note. Okay, so I'm going to use my present simple, say is, because that's true information right now. She is on the 500 Mexican peso note. Now, if they changed it and they put someone else, then I can say she was on the 500 Mexican peso note. But because it's still current, it's happening now, we're going to use the present simple of the verb to be to say she is on the 500 Mexican peso note. Okay, next person. Do we remember this guy? George Washington. So let's use our past tense, simple, to talk about him. So George Washington was, again, from the verb to be, was the first president in the USA. Yeah, very simple sentence. George Washington was the first president in the USA. He's not now. That's why I'm not saying he is, because he is not the president right now, but he was the president. And he was the first president. And he is on, now I'm using present simple to say is, because it's still true information right now. So he is on the $1 note, the US $1 note. I should say he is on the US, if we want to write the words out, $1 note. Or 1 USD, the $1 US note. Okay, next person. Do you remember this woman? So she was, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Ichio Higuchi. Do you remember? Now let's make some sentences about her. So, she was from Japan. She was from Japan, and she was a writer. So again, we're using the verb to be to talk about where she was from and what is her job. And she was a writer. Next sentence we can say about her. Now, because this is true information right now, we're going to use the present simple and say she is on the 5,000 yen note in Japan. That's their note, the 5,000 yen. She's on there. Okay, so really simple, using the past simple verb to be to talk about these people. So let's complete some of the grammar in this text here. So we're talking about Marco Polo. And we need to fill in the missing verbs in the past. So Marco Polo, which is this man here, something, so we've got this action, grow up. That means to be raised, where they spent their childhood. So Marco Polo, something in Venice in the 13th century. So Marco Polo, how do we put that action in the past simple? Grew up. Yep, so he grew up in the 13th century. When he, now I've got the verb to be, we're talking about age. When he was 17, he traveled. So that's a regular past verb. Make sure you add the ed, double the L, add the ed. He traveled with his father and uncle. They went. So we need the past simple of the verb go. It's went. They went from Venice to Persia and finally to China. Polo lived. He lived, so we added D. He lived in China for 17 years and he worked. Yep, so add an ed. It's a regular past simple verb. We add the ed and he worked for the Khan or emperor. 24 years later, he returned. We just need to add an ed. It's a regular verb. He returned to Venice and wrote. It's an irregular. So this verb breaks the rule. It has its own word in the past and it's wrote, W-R-O-T-E. And he wrote a book about his journeys in Asia. The book became, so it's an irregular verb. You just got to remember, become is the present, became is the past with an A. B-E-C-A-M-E. He became famous across Europe because of the stories. Marco Polo died. So when our verb ends in an E, we just add a D. He died in 1324. Yeah, so that's Marco Polo. So we talked about someone who's no longer alive, and because it's not right now, the information about him, what he's doing right now, we have to use the past simple. Okay, we just add an ed to our actions. Unless they are irregular, then we must remember which action words, which verbs are in the regular and which ones are in the irregular. Okay, so we know which ones are regular and irregular. I spoke about them as we were doing it. Let's make these sentences into questions. So now we know how to talk about something or someone or ourselves in the past simple, but let's make questions. So the first one, we know that we can start our questions with the W's. What, when, where, why, who. That's how we start our subject. So what question can I make? Okay, so this is, as I said, we make our questions with using the W's or maybe the how many. And then we've got did, subject, that could be I, you, he, she, it, we, they, or the person's name, or like my parents, whatever subject, and then the action. So for the first one, how can we make that into a sentence? Where did Marco Polo live in the 13th century? So where is a word to use to talk about location. Where, I want to know where in the world, like which place. Where did comes from the verb to do. So it's a past question. I only need to change this part into the past. So the verb does not need an ed, does not need an ing, does not need any ending. It's just the verb live, speak, do, take, in the present, whatever. Not in the present, but in the infinitive. So where did Marco Polo live in the 13th century? Number 2, when. So when is talking about time. So when I want to find out a time, I say when. His father and uncle. So when did he travel with his father and uncle? Yeah. Past question, when. I'm asking about time. So you must answer in in the 13th century, yesterday, last night. So when someone asks you when, you've got to talk about time. At 5 o'clock, last year, 10 years ago, whatever. When, the answer must be with time. Okay, next question. Which parts of the world did they go to? Yeah. So which part of the world did they go to? Where? Like which parts of the world? So parts means like pieces, sections. So which part in the world did they? Now the subject is they. So it's more than one person. Not just he, but they. Him and his uncle, they. And how many? Next question, how many years in China? Yeah. So how many years? So with how many, I might make a separate rule for how many. You need a noun. So the question should look like this. I might separate. So when I make a question with how many, I must add a noun. And with how many, it means that I want to know a number. So I want to know a number, like how many students are in your class? How many countries have you traveled to? How many friends do you have? So the answer must be a number of 5, 10, about 20. So it must be a number. So the question is how many, and then we need to have a noun. How many friends? How many subjects are you doing? How many books do you have? So how many years did he live in China? How many years did he live in China? Okay, next question. Who? Now, who is a question about a person. Who did he work for? Who did he work for? So that's one of the W's. Straight away, we know that there's a W and then there's a did, subject, verb. That's the rule. So who did he work for? When? We have another when. When is about time. When did to Venice? When did he return to Venice? So when? I need to know a year or yesterday, last night. You have to give me a time in the answer. And what? What did he write a book about? Okay, so what did he write a book about? So I need to say what it is. Was it about history? Was it about different people? What was the book about? Was it about food? What was it about? About. Okay, so let's answer the questions. So we know we have the information from here. Hey, Santiago. So let's answer the question. So where did Marco Polo live in the 13th century? Where? In Venice. We have the information here. In Venice, in Italy. When did he travel with his father and uncle? When? Yeah, when he was 17. Yeah. So when he was 17 is a full answer. Which parts of the world did they go to? They went to Persia and to China. Yeah, they went to Persia and to China. How many years did he live in China? He lived in China for 17 years. Yeah. Who did he work for? So full sentences. He worked for the emperor or the Khan. So he worked for the emperor. When did he return to Venice? He returned to Venice 24 years later. Years later. What did he write a book about? So he wrote, we need to put full sentences, subject, past, simple verb. He wrote, that's irregular, he wrote a book about his journeys in Asia. Okay, good. So now we know how to use the past simple. Remember? Let's look at the rules again. The past simple, we have the regular. All you need to do is add an ed, maybe a d or an ied. Remember, that's if the verb ends in a y, like study. So study becomes studied. I studied for my test yesterday. So if the verb is regular, we just add one of these. If it's irregular, there's no rule. So you just have to remember them. So that's why I didn't write. There's no rule. They break the rule. It's verbs like spoke, took, wrote, saw, went. Okay, it's irregular past simple verbs. They have their own rules. Every action has a different, there's no rule. You can't see a connection between them. There's no rule. Okay, so remember that was our past simple. Why do we use the past simple? To talk about actions in the past that are not happening anymore. They're finished. They've been completed. So now we know how to use the past simple, and we know how to ask and answer questions about the past. We did that with our example with Marco Polo. So we know how to ask. We ask questions. Maybe we start with the W's, what, where, when, why, who, which, or we can start with how many. And we know how to answer them. We answer them by putting a subject and the past verb. Okay, let's look at some time expressions. So you remember we did some time expressions. It just means time when the action happened. So we can put that before the subject and then the past simple verb. So that's our rule. Time expression plus subject. Remember, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, or you can say who the person's name, or my parents, or the school, whatever. You can say what the subject is. So some time expressions are like last night, last evening, I watched a movie. Last month, That's your time expression. Subject, I. Past verb, visited my grandparents. Last week, I cooked pasta. Maybe it's the month and year. On February the 28th, I met my best friend. In March, you can just say the month. I went to Melbourne. Or this March means like this past March. Last March, my brother arrived in Adelaide. On Wednesday and Friday, I worked. Last week, my friend went to the cinema. Last week, I called my father. Yesterday, I went to the beach. Last year, I visited Disneyland. Last weekend, my mother told me that she loved me. Last evening, I ate a pizza. Last March, I was on holidays in Cusco, Peru. Last night, I watched soccer on TV. Last week, I started a new job. Okay, so they're all sentences in the past using the past simple action to talk about an action that I did and I'm not doing it anymore. I did it. That's it. Yesterday, I cooked dinner. I cooked pasta. I'm not doing it now. Yesterday, I cooked dinner. So we can see that we add the time expression first, then the subject, and then the past simple verb. Remember, we talked about how do we create that action in the past simple. We add the ed, or it is irregular. So just be careful. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute to write maybe one sentence. And we'll come back and check your sentences. Okay, so let's look at your sentences. So, Jonathan, we'll start with you. What's your sentence?
Yesterday, I didn't went to the school.
I didn't go. Yeah, so yesterday, I didn't, because that's already where you put your past. I didn't go to school. Yeah, perfect. Yesterday, I didn't go. So remember, in the negative, maybe we should add rules here. In the negative, you add subject, and then it's didn't, and then it's just the verb. You don't need ed or anything. Okay, so it's I didn't go, I didn't see, I didn't play, I didn't find, I didn't like, I didn't enjoy, I didn't whatever. Okay, so we have the subject to make a negative. We have the subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, didn't, and then the verb. There's no ed, there's no ing, it's just the verb in the infinitive. So make sure it's in the infinitive. That means we don't change the verb. So to see, we say, I didn't see my friends yesterday. It's a different to when I say, yesterday, I saw my friends. Yesterday, I didn't see. So because in the positive sentence, I need to change the verb into the past. But in the negative, I don't need to change the verb because this is what shows me that it's in the past. The didn't. You can only change one verb. Now remember, did comes from the verb to do. Comes from the verb to do. So that's already the past here. I didn't see. Okay? So
Yesterday went to the school.
Yesterday I went to school. Yeah. Or the positive, yesterday I went to school. Exactly. Okay, so really interesting. The negative, don't forget, we add didn't verb to make a negative sentence. Okay, how about I'll leave the rules here. Sebastian, 1. We don't say the, we just say last weekend. Yeah, last weekend I went to play soccer. Yep, Jimena. They're coming shortly.
They are finishing work.
Yes, no worries. Okay, thank you. And Jimena. I did what?
Oh.
I didn't. I didn't eat. Yeah. I did eat. Yeah. For to eat, I ate. Yeah. 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 Vegetables. Yeah. Yeah. So last evening, for example, or last night, I ate. So ate comes from the verb to eat. It's irregular. So it's I ate. Yeah, I ate meat with vegetables. Yeah. Good. George, what's your sentence? No, there's no the. It's just last weekend. Yeah. Last weekend. Yeah. I traveled. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Oh, I went. Yeah, traveled really is when you're taking a flight somewhere, a plane. If you just went somewhere, I went to this place. Yeah. Santiago. You can make it a negative if you want. Use an irregular verb or regular. Yeah, so I did my exercises. Yeah, yeah. My exercises for tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I did. So that's using an action of to do. And because it's irregular, we say I did. So subject, I did some exercises. Yeah, I did some exercises for tomorrow. Yes, the down. Yes. Thank you. Thanks. So yes, I did. I did some exercises. If you want, you can put the time expression in the beginning. Last night I did some exercises. Remember, we can put our time expression in the beginning. Last night, last year, I did a course. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's keep continuing with that. So that was the way that we make sentences in the past to talk about ourselves or someone else. Remember, regular, irregular, or negative, and we know how to make questions. Okay, so we know how to ask. So we know how to ask and answer questions. Okay. So let's look at the next part. We have to now, if you remember, we looked at, remember how we were using opinion adjectives? Now, opinion adjectives, we use it with past sentences when we want to show how we feel. If someone said, how was your night? How was the movie? How was the class? How was your day? How was the day? How was your day? So we can say words like it was gorgeous, beautiful, it was wonderful, it was spectacular. It was horrible. It was terrific. It was delicious. So if you're talking about a meal, it was chilly. If you're talking about the day, cold, it was chilly. It was lovely. It was nice. It was lovely. It was excellent. It was perfect. It was cool. It was awesome, good, amazing. So we've got lots and lots of words that we could use. Okay, so which one's fantastic, great? Which one in the first one do we take out? Oh, no worries. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so guys, we need to use time expressions. We can use time expressions, and now we can use opinion adjectives, okay, to talk about the feeling, adding how we feel about something. Let's make some more questions. So we're going to make some questions like the first one for number 9. Guys, how was your evening? Yeah, we know how to use how. And when we have how, we answer with an opinion adjective. It was nice. It was good. It was amazing. So how was your evening? How was your night? Number 2, did you have a good weekend? Yeah, very simple. Did you have a good weekend? Did you have a great holiday? Did you have a good, whatever, meal? Was. Number 3, we can make a question with the verb to be. Now remember, it is was, so it's asking about the past. Was it? Was it a special party? Yeah. Was it a special night? Was your day good yesterday? Was the food good? Where did you go last night? So remember, where is asking about location. Where did you go? Where did you park your car? Where did you meet that person? So when I'm asking about location, I say where. Where did you book your ticket? Yeah. Where did you buy that bag? Okay, who? Who is asking about people? Who were you with? Yeah, or who were you with? So again, the verb to be is here. Now, were, because it's you were. So who were you with? Who did you go with? Is another way to ask that. Who did you see? Who did you meet at the party? Were. Now this is for plural. Were there lots of people there? That comes from our there. Now there, because I don't want to repeat the location. So I'm talking about a place. Were there lots of people there? So there could mean at the party, at your class, wherever. On your holiday, were there lots of people there? Okay, the next, so I'll just give you some tips. Questions that start with was, were, or did, you say yes or no in your answer first. So for example, was it a good movie? Yes, it was. Were there many people at the party? Yes, there were. Did you see your friend? Yes, I did. So always respond with yes or no first. And then for how questions, use opinion adjectives. Okay, so that's just some tips. Yeah. So for how questions, use opinion adjectives. Remember these ones? You know, how was your night? It was beautiful. It was nice. How was the movie? It was good. How was your class? Okay, so with how questions, use opinion adjectives in your answer. Remember, it's like a feeling. How did you feel? How was your night? How was your class? How was your test? Okay, so match the answers to the questions. So to this, so we have to match. When we said, how was your evening? What could an answer be from number 10? How was your evening? So how would be number 4. Sorry. How was your evening? Is F. It was fun. I went out for a meal with friends. So I'm doing number 10. If I said, did you have a good weekend? Which would be your answer? It was okay. D. I slept a lot and we went for a walk yesterday. If I said, was it a special party? Yes, B. So remember, with was questions, always reply with yes or no first. Yes. My friend finished university, so lots of people were there. So yes, it was a special party. Where did you go last night? To the cinema. Yep. So 4A, to the cinema. Where is talking about location, to the cinema, to the restaurant, to the movies, to the hotel, whatever. If I said, who were you with? Yeah, my brother and his family. Yep. So who? We're talking about people. My friends. You can respond with saying my friends, my uncles and aunties, my grandparents, my best friend, my classmates. If I said, were there lots of people there? No, not many. Yeah. So remember, it looks like I want to know if there were lots of people there. No, it's a was or were question. We know that we say yes or no first. Were there lots of people there? No. And then I can add more information. No, not many, because, maybe it was raining. A lot of people stayed home. Okay, so we have 15 minutes because we're going to have a break and then we're going to do a test. We're going to test all our knowledge on this. Let's create a conversation asking about somebody's weekend. So again, we want to practice using the present simple. So we know how to ask questions. We know how to respond. We know how to use our opinion adjectives. Let's create a conversation. I'll show you an example and then I'll put you into groups. So this is a short one, but you need to create a long one. Okay, A can be Jonathan and B can be Yaneth. You can read this example here.
Okay. Hi, Lola. How was your day?
This is someone's example in class. It was was great.
Why did you get up?
Yes, so what did you get up to? That means, like, that's a way to say, what did you do? Like, what happened in your day? What happened? What did you get up to? What did you do? Yeah. I painted
a picture and
I read a book. Yep, so we've got a regular verb here with the ed. I painted a picture. And then this is a regular past. I read a book. Now, I know it's said the same way as to read, but it's in the past. I read a book.
Whoa.
Wow. We say wow.
Wow. Did you see your best friend?
Mm.
No, she didn't. go to school today.
Yeah, so we have a question with did. Did you see your best friend? We know that with did, we answer yes or no first. So no, she didn't come to school. Good. So this is a conversation between a father and his daughter. So he's asking his daughter, how was your day? You know, did you enjoy your day? Did you have a good day? Did you have fun at school? And she's telling him, what did you do? What did you get up to? So she needs to give him some actions. What did you do? She said, I painted a picture. That's an action. I read a book. So she used and to talk about two different actions. I did this action and I did this. And yes, that's our conversation in the past simple, asking about someone. This wasn't actually asking about someone's weekend. It was more about your day, but that's you can make a conversation asking about someone's weekend or someone's day or someone's night. Okay, as long as it's in the past. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to create your own conversations, and then we'll come back and check the English. And we'll check the expressions. We want to make sure that we're using, you know, native English language expressions like, wow, oh, that's cool, great, perfect, really? Yeah, cool, whatever, something like that. So I'll give you 5 minutes and we'll come back and check the English. Okay, so we have a conversation here. Let's have a look. Looks nice and long from Jimena, Sebastian, and George. Okay, so it says, last weekend, I visited the museum downtown. There's no question. Okay, maybe it's just friends talking. Last weekend, I visited the museum downtown. There were some fascinating exhibits. Really, I missed that. I missed out. What kind of exhibits did they have? They had a history exhibit about ancient civilizations and another one on modern art. It was quite diverse. Good. Diverse means like there were lots of things to see. I wish I could have joined you. I want to change it because I want to try and use past simple. I wish I was there. I wish, or I wish I joined you. What did you think of the ancient civilization exhibits? Yeah, or what did you think of the exhibits? Or maybe did you enjoy it? Maybe did you enjoy it? Yes, it was amazing. Yes, it was amazing. So that's using our opinion adjective. It was amazing. I learned a lot about different cultures and their contributions to civilization. Life. What did you do? So you might return the question, what did you do? What did you do? So let's start the question with, how was your weekend? So how was your week? What did you do last weekend? So what did you do last weekend? Sebastian, I visited the museum downtown. There were some fascinating exhibits. Really, I missed out. What kind of exhibits did they have? So yes, it was amazing. I learned a lot about cultures and their contribution to life. What did you do? I spent the weekend at home. I watched a couple of classic movies. It was a relaxing time. Good. It was a relaxing time. Sounds nice. Which movies did you watch? I watched Casablanca and Gone with the Wind. They never get old. They were good old movies. Actually, or they never get old. That was a good expression. Speaking of movies, I saw a great film on Friday night. It was a suspense thriller. Oh, really? What was it called? It was called The Silent Witness. The plot kept me on the edge of my seat. I'll have to check that out. I love a good thriller. Good conversation. So, do you want to come up and show us? Yes. So great conversation asking about someone's weekend. We have a good example from Jimena, George, and we only have Josh in the story, and Sebastian. Okay, so come up and show us your conversation. So come up, yeah? So guys, come up and show us your conversation. So again, we're asking about someone's weekend, so we need to use the past simple. So if you listen to this conversation, there's lots of examples of the past simple, regulars, irregular. Okay, so let's listen to Sebastian, Jimena. Yeah, so come up and show us your conversation. Okay, so enjoy. And again, remember, when we ask about someone's weekend or their day or their work or their life, we need to use our past simple. So here is a very good example of that. Okay. And listen to the past simple. Question words. Okay, so what would you like to
Visit the museum. Visited the downtown. There were some fascinating exhibits. Really? How? What did they have? They had a history exhibit about civilization and another one on modern art. It was quiet, diverse. Yes, it was my. I learned a lot about different books. A couple of classic movies. It was relaxing.
Sounds nice. Which movies did you watch?
I was Casablanca. I'm Gone with the Wind. They never get out. Speaking of movies, I saw a great film on Friday night. It was a suspense thriller.
Oh, really? What was it called?
It was called The Silent Witness. The plot kept me on the edge of my seat. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out. I probably thriller.
they're really good with lots of natural expressions like, oh, really? That's cool. Sounds nice. So really good asking about someone's weekend using the past simple tense. Okay, guys, so that is the end of our lesson. So remember, we talked about the past simple. We don't have time. And we are going to continue with the next lesson, talking about journeys, so places. And the reason we're going to be using this idea of talking about places is because we're going to be using adjectives to describe what the place looks like and comparing one place to another place. In the next lesson, we're also going to be, so you hear words like, this is the most amazing place, this is better than this place. We're going to visit Colombia and learn a lot about Colombia. We're going to talk about currency and money, travel money and ATM machines and a lot of that. We're then going to look at using words so and because. And yeah, so that's all next lesson. So talking about journeys and places and being able to compare one place to another place. Okay, so I will see you, Amalaris, Dickerson, and Min. See you tomorrow at the excursion. So no class. We're going to see a Christmas show. Okay, so bye, guys. Good night. And see you next time. Bye. See you next lesson. Bye. Bye.